You just left a party early. Not because it was bad, it was actually kind of great. But somewhere around hour 2, something in you quietly stood up and said, I'm done. You didn't choose that feeling. It chose you. And here's the strange part. Neuroscientists have spent the last 20 years discovering that this isn't a flaw in your personality. It's a function. Your brain is built with an off switch for other people, and today we're going to find out why evolution installed it, and why ignoring it might be quietly costing you more than you think. Why your brain wants you to be alone. The social battery is real. We casually say, my social battery is dead, like it's a joke. It isn't. Every conversation you have runs on a brain region called the medial prefrontal cortex, the part responsible for modeling other people's minds. Every time you talk to someone, your brain is quietly running simulations. What do they mean by that? How should I respond? Did that land okay? That's expensive. Metabolically, socially, cognitively expensive. Researchers studying decision fatigue found that the brain's prefrontal cortex has a limited daily capacity for effortful processing, and social interaction, especially with people you don't know well, is one of the most demanding tasks you can hand it. So when you feel that urge to disappear into a quiet room, that's not weakness. That's your prefrontal cortex sending you an invoice. The default mode. Network. Here's where it gets fascinating. In 2001, neuroscientist Marcus Rachel discovered something almost by accident. When people lie in a brain scanner doing nothing, no task, no conversation, no stimulus, their brains don't go quiet. A whole network lights up. He called it the default mode network, or DMN. This network is responsible for autobiographical memory, piecing together your life story, future simulation, planning, imagining, rehearsing, moral reasoning, and making sense of who you are. And critically, the default mode network goes quiet the moment you're focused on another person or an external task. It can't fully activate while you're socially on. In other words, solitude isn't the absence of brain activity. It's when a specific, essential mental process finally gets the floor. Your brain uses alone time to file memories, digest emotions, and literally construct your sense of self. Skip it long enough, and that self-construction work backs up, like unread emails in an inbox that never gets a quiet afternoon to clear out. Now, you might be thinking, doesn't this contradict evolution? Weren't we supposed to survive by sticking together? Yes, mostly. Group living kept us alive, but it also created a problem. Constant vigilance. Every person nearby is someone your brain has to track, predict, and negotiate status with. Some evolutionary psychologists argue that periodic withdrawal was itself an adaptive strategy, a way to lower cortisol, reassess threats without social noise, and conserve energy for when the group truly needed you sharp. Even today, chronic low-grade social vigilance keeps your amygdala, your brain's threat detector, mildly active. It's not that people are threats. It's that any unpredictable stimulus, including a friend's shifting tone of voice, requires monitoring. Alone, the amygdala can finally stand down. That's why silence after a long day doesn't just feel nice. It feels like safety. Solitude versus loneliness. Here's the part that changes everything. Your brain does not treat all alone time the same way. Psychologist Esther Buchholz drew a sharp line between two experiences that look identical from the outside, but feel completely different on the inside. Solitude, which is chosen, and loneliness, which is imposed. Chosen solitude lowers cortisol and activates that restorative default mode network we just talked about. Imposed isolation does the opposite. It activates the same brain regions as physical pain. Studies using fMRI on socially excluded participants found overlapping activity with the anterior cingulate cortex, a region also triggered by a stubbed toe or a broken bone. So the goal was never be alone more. It's learning to tell the difference between your brain asking for a recharge and your brain slipping into isolation. One heals you. The other, left unchecked, can quietly erode you. Introverts and extroverts. Not everyone's alone time need is the same size, and that's not random either. Research on dopamine sensitivity suggests introverts' brains respond more strongly to stimulation. A single reward, like a compliment or an exciting conversation, produces a bigger internal spike, which means it takes less input to feel full and more time afterwards to settle back down. Extroverts' brains are comparatively under-responsive to the same input, so they keep seeking more social stimulation to reach the same internal reward level. Neither is broken, they're just running different internal thermostats, but almost everyone, introvert or extrovert, has a ceiling. The difference is only how fast you hit it. So what do you actually do with this? First, stop treating the need for alone time as a character flaw. It's a maintenance cycle, not a mood. Second, protect unstimulated solitude, not just alone with a screen. Scrolling still occupies the same attentional systems as socializing. The default mode network needs boredom, not just absence of people. Third, watch the emotional flavor of your alone time. If it feels like relief, you're refueling. If it starts feeling like disappearing, that's your cue to reach back out, because connection is still the thing your brain is for. Your brain didn't evolve to choose between people and solitude. It evolved to oscillate between them, like a lung breathing in and out. The people who seem most at ease in the world aren't the most social or the most solitary. They're the ones who've simply learned to follow the rhythm their brain was already trying to teach them. So the next time you feel that pull to step away from the group chat, the party, the noise, you're not being antisocial. You're just listening to a brain that's finally asking for the floor.